Guys, I could really use some holidays right now. I mean, COVID, Ukraine, the weather, it's nice right now, but Vancouver, it's always going to start raining at some point, right? Wouldn't the flight be nice? Like Mexico, Hawaii? There's a problem, flying. Well, we know that emissions from flying are actually one of the biggest troublemakers for our environment. Not a lot of happy trees if you keep flying with those airplanes up to Hawaii. Are there solutions? Yes, well, we know one of the best ones so far already. We could use hydrogen as fuel. We can use hydrogen in the modern engines. And at the end, all that comes out of it is just water. Problem is, why don't we use this then? Well, the biggest problem is storing hydrogen. You see, hydrogen is the smallest atom that we have, and the molecule is not much bigger. It's just two atoms fused together. So even the tiniest crack in the tank, the hydrogen will use to escape. They are real escape artists. And what's the problem with the tank then? Well, like you walking up a creaky staircase, you can already hear the staircase cracking. Staircase will still hold. You can walk another 1,000 times on it. But if a tank does this, the tank will hold up structurally, it will look fine, but the hydrogen will get out of these tiny micro cracks that you just created there. And aircraft starting, landing, and so forth is under a lot of stress. So which two options do we have to actually solve this? Well, first, we could make the walls thicker, but thick tanks are very heavy, and heavy tanks and flying, I mean, you know where this is going. What's the other chance that we have? Well, we could try to listen to the cracks and see where they come from, and maybe even say, like, are they going to be dangerous, or are they going to leak hydrogen in the future? This is exactly what I'm trying to do. My research is focusing on building a sensor. That sensor has thousands to millions of tiny drums on it. These drums are connected. The top side and the bottom side both have an electrode. And if a signal comes in, those tiny, tiny drums start vibrating and the distance between the electrodes changes. That is a signal that we can actually detect. Those signals we can use to quantify and really determine the crack and if the hydrogen would be leaking. What happens then? Well, if the aircraft lands, we can check what cracks actually happened. If we find a crack that might be dangerous in the future or that might be leaking hydrogen in the future, then we can just go and patch it up. That way we can keep the aircraft flying. So if we actually manage to do this, it would be nice, keeping the hydrogen in the tank, keep the aircraft in the air, and all the trees happy. That's my research. Thank you very much.